Welcome to the VR Gaming Podcast. I'm here with Alex. Alex, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, to explain this voice, yesterday Alex and I played Final Space VR The Rescue, and one of the characters had this voice, and he was definitely the most entertaining character, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, so I picked that character. We didn't realize that he was going to have all the funny lines through that game. We'll talk about that game later. So, I don't know. What are we going to jump right into the games, or do you have anything to say before that?
No, you just get right into it, Justin.
All right. The game I played the most this month was Far Cry, and if you didn't know, there's a VR mod with motion controls, and it's awesome. And I need to have that video. Yeah, so we're on podcast platforms, but also YouTube. So we have video now on YouTube, and there we go. So here I am playing Far Cry. This was the I don't know, one of the earlier versions with motion controls. He's updated a lot since then. So now you have a left hand. But you can, I don't know if you can tell in this video, when you can grab with your left hand, and you will see a left hand like holding this handgun here. But when in the older versions, when you let go, you wouldn't see the left hand. Now you can see a left hand all the time, and you can do immersive ladder climbing, like physically climbing the ladders like you can in the Half-Life 2 VR mods. And he added quick saves. So I played all the way through this game. It took a long time, and it was hard as hell. I think I probably had at least 200 deaths. But Part of that's because there was no quick save. You had to rely entirely on autosave. And so I just had to replay the same areas over and over and over. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it has quick save now. And he's improved the scopes and like the tablet, or is it a tablet? What is it? Oh, no, the binoculars. The binoculars. And I don't know. It was all. This has been one of my favorite VR experiences. I played Far Cry when it first came out. I don't know, it was like 2003 or 2004. But even then, it was really fucking hard. I never beat it, so I decided I am going to beat it this time. So I suffered and I persevered through this. You can drive jeeps and you can drive boats in the water, and that's probably my favorite part. All the driving stuff, especially on the boats, because it felt like the airboats in Half-Life 2, and that's probably my favorite part of Half-Life 2, doing the airboat stuff. And you end up fighting mutated monsters in this, and I love monsters and shit like that. And it gets pretty crazy. I don't know if there's something I left out. Alex, you've played it, right?
Yeah, I played about 30 minutes just to try it out, but keeps improving it. Like he's added like ladder climbing and stuff, and like you say, now you've got a left hand, so you're not just, because before it was just like one hand unless you're two-handing a weapon, otherwise your left hand is invisible. So yeah, he keeps improving it and adding to it and changing it. So I'm just gonna wait and see how far he takes it before I play through the game. I might play through it on easy, actually, seeing as you said it's really hard on regular. So I might drop it down a little bit, because you're supposed to be able to stealth in it, but it seems impossible to stealth.
Oh yeah.
The AI will like spot you from miles away, and then once they spot you, they can obviously send in reinforcements, and it just ends up turning into a big gun battle. So yeah, it's not an easy game.
That's one of the big problems I forgot to mention. Yeah, you can try to be stealthy. They're going to see you. Like, there is a way to go prone in this game. Like, there's a button press for prone, and I don't know if that's the way the game they designed it. If you're supposed to go prone a lot, which you move too slowly when you're prone. I don't.
Yeah, you'd spend the entire time just crawling, wouldn't you? It'd be
yeah, that
boring.
would be so boring. And I don't know. I think you can physically crouch, and the game registers as you crouching now.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
about
does, yeah.
prone. I don't know if you can go prone.
Yeah, he said that if you lay down, it'll go prone in the
Oh,
game.
it will. Oh, okay.
If you want to be that hardcore about it.
Man, that would be pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played the whole thing with my index physically turning the whole way. Not a single artificial turn the whole time. That's the way I like to play. these types of games. I could never play a game like this, like just seated and just using an artificial turn, but I think that's the way most people play, isn't it?
From what yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people do like to play seated and just use stick turn and stuff, but I think it depends what you do for a living as well. Like if you're working a manual job all
Yeah,
week, you don't want to be stood up on your feet. So I get it.
yeah, I
But for
understand
me,
that.
I'm on my feet more. I'm sat down more than I'm. So I like I make a point of standing up and turning and stuff when I play.
Yeah, I'm on my ass all day at work. There are guys at work that have standing desks and they stand all day, but I'm like, hell no. Then I wouldn't want to play VR if I stood all day. So,
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be healthy for you, to obviously stand anyway. So
I
um,
don't know.
definitely, even just standing still, it's supposed to be good for you. So I always try and do it.
Well, I do it in VR, but I don't do it at work.
Yeah.
Um, anything else about Far Cry?
No, I mean it's an old game, but it does look, with the obviously because it's quite a large open kind of worldy. It's not open world, but it's kind of open world. So it's just really nice to be in a game like that in VR with, the water looks great. Just you're in a big jungle environment. Looks obviously, like I say, doesn't look as good as Crisis because I've been playing some Crisis before in VR, but it still looks good. And performance is obviously a lot better than Crisis because it's an older game. So
Mhm.
if you ever fancy playing this game in VR, then I definitely recommend the mod because it's really well done.
And one thing about what you're seeing right now, this is that was the binoculars and it had this, black frame around it, and the scopes in this version had the black frame around it. But now the scopes and the binoculars are just like part of the world, so you can see the world around it. So that's, more like a real using real binoculars or real scope maybe.
Yeah,
And
it's
what?
the
Yeah,
same guy.
same guy as the Half
Um,
Life 2 VR mod.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So what I love about this is it's so lush and it's just a beautiful jungle. One thing I always hated about a lot of Half Life games is a lot of times they're just really dark, and a lot of times you're just in like some sort of dark basement or you're underground or something. And these lush jungle environments are just awesome to be in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. They do look great.
Yeah. All right, you want to go to your game?
Yeah, I've been playing a new game actually. Came out just towards the end of last month, which is Crossfire Sierra Squad, and it came out on PC and on PSVR 2. These PSVR 2 players seem to like it straight away, most of them, but a lot of PC players were, yeah, they weren't massively impressed by it, and it got ended up getting negative reviews on like launch day. It's now gone up to mixed, so they've been patching, improving, fixing some issues. One of the big things is like the game's very arcadey, by default. So the enemies are quite spongy, and they have like hit markers and health bars above them and stuff, which is something you never saw in the trailers because obviously they took all that stuff off. Um, so I think that was one thing that was kind of a bit disappointing for a lot of people because they're expecting it to be more like a Call of Duty campaign, more a bit more realistic ish. It was, whereas the game as it launched felt a lot more like an arcadey kind of Time Crisis almost type of game, where you've got these yellow markers on the floor which tell you where you need to go, and then you can't really restricted. You can't really move around much. But they've got this realism mode, which originally you had to play through the game before you could unlock it, whereas now they've allowed you to play from that from start, which is how I've been playing it, and it's actually I'm enjoying it a lot more. It's still obviously the same game. It's still quite arcadey. Like you'll get bombarded by loads of enemies that you've got to kill, and a lot of the times the levels can feel a little short, where you kind of you're working your way up to a point, and then you have to have this big wave of enemies that you've got to defeat. First three levels are really, really kind of wave shootery. It does open up after that, where you've got like point to point. You're going through little corridors and stuff. Yeah, and on realism modes, it's a lot more enjoyable for me because the enemies die a lot quicker, but you can die really quick, like one shot and you can die. from a shot guy coming with a shotgun can walk around a corner and kill you instantly. So you've really got to think about being a bit more tactical. You can't just run through the game. You've got to kind of use cover, peek around corners and stuff to try and take people out quickly before they see you and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's actually quite enjoyable, and it's definitely a lot better than a lot of people make it out to be. The other thing as well is that it's not got full manual reloads, which obviously a lot of people on PC don't like. I would obviously prefer it if you could do that, but it's not like Firewall Ultra where you press a button and it does everything for you. You still have to press a button to eject the mag. You still have to grab another mag and bring it up to the bottom of the gun, and then it kind of like does like a little animation to finish the reload off. So you don't get to rack a slide, but that's literally the only part. The only part you're missing from the reload is actually grabbing, the top of the gun or pulling the gun back to round, put a bullet in the chamber. But everything else is still manual. So it's got enough. There's enough there for me personally where I enjoy it. But obviously, a lot of people are like hardcore gun nuts and they won't play anything unless it's got like full realistic reloads. But other than that, I think it's a good game. Loads of content as well because there's like 13 single player missions with a story, and then on top of that, there's 50 squad missions with 2-player co-op, which me and Josh have just started playing through. And some of them are like rehashed versions of the single player game where they've redone things. You start at a different point. It's still quite good fun, and obviously co-op is obviously fun just being with somebody else and going through. We just did a mission actually where you're kind of in a blizzard. You can't see much, and then you've got these guns with thermal scopes on them, so you have to kind of use your scopes to see the enemies. They can kind of some of them have got snipers, and they're like trying to pick you off, and you've got to try and pick them off through the snow and stuff. Yeah, it's I think it's decent. It's definitely, and the more I play it, and the more I'm kind of going through these levels and opening up more of the game, I'm enjoying it more and more. So don't let the reviews put you off. If this sounds like something or looks like something you would enjoy, I think get past the first through 3 missions. I think you'll definitely start to enjoy it a lot more.
So that means you bought it if you're playing it co-op with Josh.
Yeah, I bought it. I didn't get a key or anything.
So, I mean, originally you were probably playing his version, then you decided, oh, this is good enough for me to buy.
No, I bought it originally.
Oh, you bought it originally. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought it because I tried to get a key from the developer that never responded. So, and it's not even that expensive actually. It's like £22, which is what, $30 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I say, there's a lot of content there. There really is. Like I think still not finished the single player campaign, but you're probably talking about 5 to 6 hours for that. But then they've got the co-op missions, which you can play solo as well, so you can play them like an AI squad mate. So there's 50 missions. You've definitely got probably, I don't know, 12, 15 hours just for one playthrough of everything, really. There's a horde mode as well where you can do like 4-player co-op, but I'm not really that bothered about horde modes personally. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's not like the best game ever. I'd say probably like a good 7 out of 10 maybe. And like I say, the more I play it, and the more these squad missions are actually really good. I think they're better than the single player campaign in a lot of areas. So I'd definitely recommend pushing through the first few missions if you don't like those, because the first few missions are really, you literally just walk to a small section and then you defeat a wave of enemies. Then it's mission over. They like take minutes to finish virtually. So, but once you get past those, they do open up a bit more. So I would definitely recommend pushing through that part. Other than that, I can recommend it personally, especially at the price. I think it's good value for money.
Maybe I'll buy it then. I
Well, you can
usually
play it through
don't.
my.
I usually don't go for these like tactical military-esque things. I usually like it to be a little bit weirder. You know, like Half-Life,
Yeah,
like something
you don't like
weird going
realism,
on.
like ultra
Yeah.
realistic. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
would. I
like
would try it on my
monsters and
account.
aliens. Yeah, I could try it on your
Yeah,
account. That's true.
try it on my account, give it a go. And if you want to do some co-op, it's a shame it's not like 4-player co-op on the missions because but if you wanted to play
Oh,
some
it's only
co-op, I'd
two-player,
play with.
not three-player.
For the Yeah, just for the squad missions, a
Mm,
2-player.
okay.
But then there's a horde mode, which is just defeating waves of enemies, which is 4-player. But the squad missions are where it's good. It's up to you whether you might want to play arcade. I don't know what your play style is. If you don't like tactical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Not
prefer to
really.
more like, yeah, you might want to stick with the more standard arcade mode. Because the realism mode, you will die. Like, I die sections where you're going to die a few times to get through it. Because you just, you get shot by a sniper can take you off, or a shotgun guy can walk around and pick you off, and you die pretty quickly. So it's definitely not a. If you don't like tactical games, then probably just play the regular casual arcade mode and do it that way.
Okay. I guess I'll go to the next game. Yupitergrad 2. I played this through your account.
Yeah.
So we both played it. I liked the first Yupitergrad a lot. And this one, my initial impression was this tutorial's taking too long, and I was kind of getting bored.
Oh, on
Um,
the little ship you're on, the start.
yeah, I was on a, I don't even remember a ship. I just remember doing
You're
a
on that space.
tutorial.
Yeah, you're on a spaceship. If you watch the cutscene, it like explains what's happening.
Oh, I skipped it.
You're on a yeah, yeah, I figured as much. But yeah, you kind of you're on a ship on your way to the space station, and it's kind of just teaching you how to do the game. But yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm about an hour and a half into it. It's more of the same, but it's kind of they've kind of gone for like a Metroidvania style where
Yeah.
you've got a map and then you've got to go to certain areas to upgrade your equipment to be able to unlock other areas that you've already been to, sort of thing. So there is some backtracking, but so far it's not annoyed me. I'm fine with it.
I
But
did an hour in
what's
it, and I saw you did like 50 minutes.
right?
Um,
I got the thing where you get you don't know what this
yeah.
game is. Basically, it's like a how do you describe it? Like a platformer sort of action game where
It,
you're swinging with these
it's like,
plungers, so
yeah,
you can
it's sort of
plunge.
like Windlands, but with
Yeah,
these, you don't really get pulled automatically like you would in Windlands. With this one, you usually have to kind of yank
you can, but you can press a button. If you push up
the
on your
analog
thumbstick,
stick.
it pulls it. Yeah, yeah, it pulls you up as well.
It'll pull you up, but not fast. It's pretty it's a slow yank kind of, or
Yeah,
slow
yeah. It's not.
pull.
I prefer Winland's method. I prefer the way that they
Yeah.
pull you up automatically. With this, I find it's a bit clunky sometimes, like getting through. There's more control. You've got more control over the swing because, like you say, you can pull and you can. If you use both, you've got these plungers which you can plunge onto anything blue in the game. So anything blue, you can stick it to, and then you can kind of obviously like the tethered to your hands, so you then you can pull. It kind of flies you through the air, and then you can kind of swing through the levels. I do like the movement. I do prefer Winlands to movement. But this is still fun, and you get these little jet. Have you got the jetpack yet? I've got the
That's
little
the
jet.
most fun part for me. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got the upgrade where yeah, it shoots that smoke or whatever out of your plunger hands, and then you can fly through these anti-gravity areas and through the water. Yeah, that's the best part
yeah.
so far.
You can use it to like control yourself in midair. So like if you're flying through the air, you can kind of steer yourself a little bit to
Yeah.
avoid because you a lot of it's like obstacle courses where you've got things to avoid, big grind machines that can kill you.
You
I think
said
later on you're
obstacle
gonna get.
course instead of assault course. You said the American way.
This is more of an obstacle course. There's a difference.
Oh, you guys have the two different. Okay, two different terms
Yeah,
then.
an assault course is typically a
Military
military
specifically.
style. Yeah, yeah. Whereas
Okay.
an obstacle course is just you're going through an area with obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it is definitely kind of you just avoiding things and trying to get through the levels. The levels are massive as well. Like the areas are huge.
Yeah, so I
You
remembered
feel
when we had Simplex on, he talked about this game. He played it on his Pico, and he said that he felt like the levels were like too long, and then they made them longer just so that the game would be long because the first game was too short. So, but not I kept
right.
thinking that the whole time I was playing, like this is just like I'm just having to go so far just to get to the next thing. So
I meant more as in
I was kind of getting
scale.
annoyed. What were you saying?
I meant more like in scale. Like you feel like you're tiny in these massive corridors. Um, like the corridors, and you're in these like on a 2D screen. You can't really see. You don't really get a judge of how big these levels. Like the oval. Like when you're in an area,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like you're really small in a massive kind of
Well,
open
that I
area or
like.
massive.
I just meant that there's like the tunnels in between areas. There's like it's just too long. That's how I felt.
I'm not. I've not found that yet. I mean, I enjoy the movement, so to me, it don't really feel that too bad. Because like,
Yeah,
if you play something like Windlands, and the entire game is you just swinging around really, with some odd boss fights and stuff.
yeah.
But overall, it's the movement that makes the game fun. So as long as it's fun, then I don't mind swinging through these corridors and stuff.
Okay. Well, maybe part of it, Windlands, you're outdoors mostly, so I found that more fun than being in the
Oh yeah,
corridors. I think.
this is more. I think Windlands is more open, where you've got more. It's not as hard as this. I'd say Yupitergrad's quite. Because that with Windlands, you didn't really have problems where you'd be getting killed and stuff. You
You didn't have
just
saw
have to.
blades all over the damn place.
Yeah, you'd have to try and figure out how to get up to a certain platform, but you wouldn't have to avoid, like obstacles and things like that. Whereas this is just straight up got traps and things you've got to avoid and lasers and stuff like that. So it's more difficult, I'd say. But overall, I'm enjoying it. Obviously, I'll keep playing it and play more. But so far, it's not annoying me. I'm not finding it's too padded or anything at the moment.
I
But
wouldn't say
that
I'm
could
not
change.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
I might have already gone in with negative thoughts because like reviews I saw weren't good, and then Simplex didn't sound like he loved it, so that might have influenced me. Um, one, one thing I definitely noticed I didn't like is every time you got to a checkpoint, there'd be a door that's shut, and it would completely stop your progress. Like you might have had a bunch of forward momentum. It would be nice, I think, if the door would just open as you're coming toward it, and then you could just keep going. I got really annoyed by continually being
Yeah,
stopped.
I've got a feeling they're loading the level in.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
Because
Yeah.
don't forget it's on the quest as well, so they'll probably
Yeah.
have to only load so much at a time.
So right after I played Yupitergrad 2, I loaded up the original just to
Right.
compare, and I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, 2 has much better graphics." I didn't realize. Like at first, I was kind of like unimpressed by the graphics, and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, they're definitely better." But I think the original has like a better story and better sound and music. The music in this, of course, you might have turned the music off because you tend to do that. I didn't notice. I didn't like the music in this at all. Like it was just like very boring. Whereas I
I
remember
don't
the original
remember.
having like some really Russian cosmonaut type of music that I don't know appealed to me because of the theme.
Yeah. It's definitely Russian. It's got a Russian theme, and you've got this AI bot that talks to you all the time with this uh
The Russian
very
voice.
Soviet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's trying to be funny sometimes, and it don't really make me. It's not like funny, but it's trying to be funny a lot. But it's not cringy or anything. I don't think it's just not funny.
Oh yeah, but where I quit, I was like I don't know where the game wants me to go, and there's a map you can put up like a 3D map that
Yeah.
you can move the map around and stuff. And even looking at the map, I was like I don't know where the game wants me to go next. It's the part where there's those water spigots, and I turned one of them on, and for some reason there's a giant rubber ducky. But anyway, I turned one of them on, and then there's like two other ones, and I turned them, and like okay, they're showing it right there, and they
Yeah. Yeah.
weren't. No water was coming out of them, and I couldn't figure out where I needed to go to fix that, and that's when I just said, "All right, I'm out." I
That's
don't
as
know if
far as
that's
I
where
got
you are.
actually.
What'd you say?
Yeah. That's exactly where I got to.
Okay. And
I
were
just
you?
I just stopped playing. I just didn't. I'd just done playing for it, so
But
it wasn't because I was stuck. I would just
okay.
decided to stop playing.
I was looking at the map, and I didn't see any obvious indication of where to go next.
Yeah, they said something about you gotta find where the water supply or something, turn it back on or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um.
I went all over the place. I backtracked a lot trying to find what they were talking about.
Oh, I didn't even look for it, so I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
I
So I
didn't
don't
get
know.
that far.
All right. Anything else? Go to your next game.
No, we'll talk about maybe Yupitergrad 2 next week, next month, if we've finished it. If there's anything more to report on it, whether we've enjoyed it more or less. But at the moment, I think it's if you like the first game, I think you'll enjoy the second.
Yeah. But the first was more novel. If you already played, like for me, I, I did a video of the first one, And I remember being, yeah, it was fun the whole time, and I remember feeling like, disappointed that it ended so soon.
Yeah, I feel like you've gone into this maybe with a pre-idea of what it's going to be, though,
Yeah.
which might not be affecting you. Because, like I
And,
said, I'm not feeling the same thing. But
and this has combat, which we haven't gotten to yet. But in this video, you could
yeah,
see that they were shooting at some drones and stuff. So
yeah, I think that would be fun.
yeah, the
That'll make
original
it fun.
doesn't have any combat that I recall. Did it?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's a new thing.
All right. All right. We'll go to your game. Next one.
Yeah. What is Atlas? What's it called? It's got a
The
full.
Atlas Mystery.
It's called the Atlas Mystery. It's a puzzle game where it's like an escape the room puzzle game where you're in this old theater and it's a bit spooky. This kind of like haunted vibes to it, with weird sounds sometimes and creepy music. And you've got to just try and figure out how to get to the next section. Really, um, it's a very handsy game, so you're gonna be poking things, using your hands to turn things and picking things up. It's reasonably polished. I think there are some times things can get a little janky, but overall, of picking things up and it felt pretty solid. I didn't find it was too janktacular in too many places. Puzzles are really well done, so you kind of have to I think of some examples. Kind of like there's one way behind the kiosk where where the popcorn is and all the sodas and stuff that you can get when you go to a theater or a cinema. And yeah, you got to figure out how to unlock the popcorn machine, and then you've got to put popcorn in the popcorn container, but you've got to put a certain amount in, but you've got to figure out how much you need to put in by looking for clues. And a lot of it's just walking around the environment, kind of picking things up, reading things, and looking for clues to figure out what you need to do. And then, it feels pretty intuitive. There's nothing too obtuse where I'm like, don't really know 100% what I need to do. It's more just figuring out, the code or the weight that you need or the order that you need to put certain things in. But overall, it's yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've not finished it yet. I've got to the point where I'm actually inside the theater, the place with where they play the films, and I stopped playing at that point. But yeah, I think it's pretty decent. The only thing I would say that's probably a negative is the graphics are a bit kind of Quest. It looks like it's been built for the Quest, so it's not amazing graphically, but it's still okay. And puzzles make up for it, I think. Overall, I'm really enjoying the puzzles. Actually, they've just got that right balance between being hard but not like too hard, and you can figure them out, and it makes you feel good every time you figure something out.
Yeah, I'm at the same place you are in that film room, and I couldn't figure out
Yeah.
what to do. So I looked at a video of somebody who did a playthrough, and I noticed he was able to do something. I'm not going to say what it was in that room that I didn't realize you could do. It was something involving one of the objects in there. I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. So then I stopped the video and I'm going to go back into it and then mess with that and see what I can figure it out
Yeah,
because yeah, I got stuck.
I didn't
And
do much of that room. I think I turned the power on and then I just left, and I'll go back to it.
yeah,
But
so when this game first loads up, I was like, whoa, this seems like really high quality. And then the first room you're in, a lot of the graphics look really good. But then yeah, you go into like that some other rooms and the graphics don't look as good. So yeah, I see what you say about what you're saying about kind of some of the graphics look questy. I think the
yeah, it's just
pop
kind of like big empty spaces and things just look a bit low, like textures don't look as
and
good
like
as
the
they could and
popcorn
stuff.
when you put the scooper into the popcorn, none of the popcorn moves, which made me think, all right,
Yeah.
well this must be not be what I'm supposed to do. It took me a while to realize what was going on there.
Yeah, it kind of just pops into the scooper.
Just
Uh,
automatically, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's like I say, if you like puzzle games and escape the room type games, I think you'll enjoy this game. It's definitely well made. It's just obviously visually that's the only downside I could find with it, really. And occasionally my hands would get stuck in stuff, or things would be a little bit janky.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's another
there's some.
thing. Sorry,
Um,
that's another thing. Is that this has good physics. So like your hands collide with everything, and there's so many VR games where your hands go through everything, and objects you hold go through things. Well, this game, yeah, there's full physical collisions, which is I'm always happy to see that in games.
Yeah, it feels better, especially when if you're in a game that you're interacting with a lot of stuff and your hands go through stuff, it can be quite annoying. Because there's one puzzle where you've literally got to like use your fingers to prod things and flick switches and stuff. So they've done a good job with the interactions. It feels solid. Like it's not simplified things. It feels like you're actually doing the thing you want to do. Like if you need to turn a dial or press a button, you don't have to like. It's not. It's you're actually physically doing what you need to do with your hands, and it feels decent. There's one puzzle. The hardest room so far was this projection room, which is where obviously the projector is to play the movies, and yeah, I
Oh,
had
that's the
trouble.
room I'm in. Oh, you're not in that. You're past that room.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were.
Yeah, the
Oh, have you
film,
not got
like
past
that
that?
projector room, I thought is the film room, but there's a.
No, no, I'm in the main with all the seats and everything with the screen and
Oh no, I'm not there.
yeah, I'm in there now. Yeah, that projector room is quite difficult.
Okay.
You can ask me after if you want to figure it out. But it sounds like you've already figured it out anyway if you've looked online. Yeah, but there's a puzzle in that with the projector which was really cool. I'll not spoil what it is, but when I figured it out, it was like, oh, that's really clever.
Hmm.
And it was quite a cool little thing that they put in there. So there's lots of different puzzles that feel really satisfying to do. And overall, I think they've done a really good job. I think if they could get some sort of 3D artist or someone who can do a better job with the visuals for a next game, I think it could be one of the best VR puzzle games.
Yeah, yeah. I have a hard time thinking of an escape the room game that's much better.
Oh, have you noticed that when you finish a puzzle, it makes a little sound? I don't know if you've turned that on in the options.
Is it a ding?
It's the exact same sound as I Expect You to Die. So whenever you do a puzzle in that, it makes this like bring
Okay.
to let you
Oh,
know what
that.
you've done.
Oh, it's that exact same
Yeah,
sound. Okay.
it's the exact same sound. Yeah, I thought that was quite funny. How
Hmm.
it's literally identical.
Yeah. All right. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So you did a video. I downloaded your video where you compared Blade and Sorcery and Grimlord and Battle Talent and Hellsplit Arena and Undead Citadel.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think that's all the ones.
5
So
games.
that's what we're showing
Yeah.
here. So I hadn't played Grimlord or Battle Talent or Hellsplit Arena or Blade and Sorcery like dungeon stuff. So I was like, let me just play all these. So I was just going to talk a little bit about this. So Grimlord, that it has a full campaign, and it's supposedly like Dark Souls, which I played. I talked about a previous one. I played Dark Souls remastered in VR, and I didn't like it. And
Yeah.
with Grimlord, like see this skeleton, not skeleton, whatever it is, zombie guy. They
Yeah.
take so many hits. You have to,
Yeah.
I don't know,
They're
maybe not in
tanky.
that video, but like you have to hit them so many times, and then like even early in the game, they put so many of them. Like you have to run up. I just ended up running past them all, and I showed you the picture where I had like 30 of them
Yeah.
chasing me.
You've got like a big army of them trying to kill
Yeah,
you.
a whole army of them chasing me around because I didn't want to have to just hit each one. I don't know, 20 times, however many times it takes. And so I
Yeah.
was
It's
just, yeah,
the enemies are very tanky, so you do. I think obviously been done purposely. Like so, the whole thing with Grimlord is it's kind of it's basically Dark Souls. It's copying that kind of formula. So you're gonna get into these encounters. It's more slow paced. The enemies will like do big swings that you can kind of parry and block, and yeah, you're gonna have to hit them a few times. You can kill them quicker. There's ways to do it,
hmm
but you have to obviously kind of like figure out how to do it. But you can't do like one. You can't like chop the head off with one shot or anything. You've got to. There's always going to be a few swings to kill them. But yeah, it's not. It's quite a difficult game actually. It's not easy.
So I didn't like the demo either. In the demo, I remember I did the same thing. I just ran from them all and just had all these zombies chasing after me. I don't know. Maybe I didn't play long enough, but I was running around in the first little town, and there were archers and like human archers and stuff, and I just couldn't figure out where the game wanted me to go. I think, and I just kind of gave up. Or maybe a horde of those 30 zombies eventually caught up to me and killed me. I think.
Yeah, there's no checkpoint. Well, the checkpoints are like absolutely brutal as well. Like
Yeah.
you've got a checkpoint when you go into the level, and there's no checkpoints anywhere else. I think you've got to kind of do the level all the way through. So if you die, you have to do the entire thing again. There are shortcuts that you can unlock, so like the
Hmm.
doors that you can unlock to skip sections.
Yeah, I did that.
But yeah, it's you have to yeah you're gonna have to repeat the same level over and over to get through it,
Yeah.
which
So
is Dark Souls, isn't it?
battle talent I liked more. Even though that's more of just kind of like a arena battler thing. There's progression where you can unlock new abilities and new weapons and stuff after each one. But they did have these level things. I don't know, do they call them dungeons? So it's not always just a little arena. Sometimes you go through an actual kind of a
Yeah,
level.
yeah. There's procedural dungeons that you go through, and they've got like arenas where you've got boss fights and stuff. What I liked about that one was just yeah, like you said, the progression felt
Yeah.
quite good. Even though it's a roguelite, you still progress through levels. You're not like having to redo the entire thing again. And it gives you random weapon. Well, not random, but it's like you get a level and it'll give you it'll go in and it'll give you a specific weapon that you've got to use and stuff. And yeah,
So
that was my favorite.
then I played Hellsplit Arena, and that's the best looking of them all, but I think it's by far the worst game of all. Uh,
Do you think?
I thought Hellsplit Arena sucked. Like,
Okay.
terrible. Because I was just going through and easily destroying everyone. I just kept going through each level, and I would just be like, bop on the head, dead. Just go up another one, bop on the head, dead. And it was just the same enemies over and over and over, and just really boring. So,
Yeah, I think the main thing with that one is the campaign's just it's just wave that is just wave based, and it does take. There are other enemies like they've got like armor and stuff, but it takes a long time to get to those enemies, and so you do have a lot of. It is quite boring and repetitive to play through the campaign.
okay.
It's one of I'm actually in the middle of making a video about it because they've just added mod support, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it needs some work, but I think it's got potential to really open the game
Yeah,
up.
we
So
both tried that Resident Evil 4 mod, and I thought it sucked, personally.
yeah, the weapon handling needs work. It's got this weird thing when you move around with the character, your weapon kind of moves weirdly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it needs work, but I think like potential there is 'cause the SDK that they've got with it is basically Unreal Engine. So you can make whatever you can make with Unreal Engine, you can make with that game. You've got access to all the assets, including all the different walls and textures and everything. So you can make your own levels and you can make your own campaigns and stuff with it. You can import assets from other Unreal stuff, and yeah, it's got the potential to be huge, but it's going to depend on the community. And there's a few things like I'll mention in my video, which I'm going to post in a few days. They really need to improve, but yeah, overall, I think it's like Blade and Sorcery. It's got the dungeon thing now, but for a long, long time, the thing that made that game what people enjoyed was the mod support. So I think this could definitely transform the game if enough people get behind Split Arena.
I love flat to VR mods, but I'm just not into games where you have to use mods to make the game good. For like,
I think it depends on
I
the
don't know.
yeah. To me, I don't really care that much about sandbox stuff. So if it's just like a map and you just like spawn enemies in, I don't care.
Hmm.
But if it's got like an actual campaign and a level that point to point you go through, and
Yeah.
I enjoy that, which is why I've put so much time into Half-Life Alyx mods because they're just loads of levels that you like proper little mini campaigns and stuff. So that's what I'm hoping that we see with Hellsplit Arena because the potential is there for them, and the potential's there not just for sword fighting. Like they've got literal handguns and shotguns and stuff in there, so they can literally make someone could make a first person shooter or a mixture of shooting and melee and stuff. So the potential there is there to be huge with the mod support for that. So I'm really interested to see what happens with it.
So then I tried Blade and Sorcery. I have a lot of hours in Blade and Sorcery, but it's never appealed to me much, just because it's the waves of enemies. So I wanted to see what this dungeon thing was, and that did make it more interesting. But it was like way too easy. I was just going through these enemies with very little effort, just destroying them all. I don't
It's
know how.
janky as well.
Yeah, and I don't know how much there is to it, because eventually I just was like, all right, I've seen enough of this. Like, is there some goal in the dungeon?
No, you just get to the end. They're supposed to be adding some thing called Crystal Hunt or something, which is gonna
Oh yeah, I
where
saw
you've
that
got to
on the
hunt for
main menu.
crystals, and then you're gonna have to use those to like unlock weapons and stuff. I don't know. But the thing about Blade and Sorcery is it's been out for so long and it's been so popular and so successful. I just don't understand how it's not progressed further than what it is, because it's still, when you look at it, obviously it's
Mhm.
improved a lot, but the actual game itself still very basic, really. Like the dungeons are great, but there's no point to them. You're just doing it for fun. There's
Yeah,
no progression or reason to come back to the game, which is, it's not. How many non VR games are like that where they've got no point to them?
yeah. Yeah,
It's
when I was
like
playing it, I was just like, why wouldn't you just be playing Skyrim VR?
that's
It's
what I mean. There's
so
like
much better.
there's no. It's just weird how in VR for some reason people are fine with these really basic shells of a game. Or if that
Yeah,
was other than like something like Gmod, maybe if that was a non VR game, people would be shitting all over it for the fact that it's not even really a game,
yeah,
really.
yeah. So then, I didn't play Undead Citadel again, but I just want to say, after playing Grimlord, Battle Talent, Hellsplit Arena, and Blade and Sorcery, the dungeon, then I was like, well, Undead Citadel looks a lot better to me now. I think Undead Citadel is the best game of all of those. If
Yeah,
between all of those, I would rather play Undead Citadel. Yeah.
I like it because it's got like the story campaign. That's the main thing I like about it. And I have been back through it because they've been updating the game, and they have improved things. It's got this stupid film grain on it, which I really hate.
You still can't
I
get rid of
really
that?
hope. Nope.
Hmm.
I don't know. People clearly aren't complaining about it enough, but
Hmm.
yeah, I hate it. It just makes everything look a bit blurry and fuzzy. So I've been kind of waiting to see if they're gonna do that, but it's been a while now and they've not bothered. So I might just go back in and finish it. But yeah, it's not bad. I mean,
Mhm.
I think Battletown is my favorite, and then probably Grimlord for me. I still quite liked Grimlord's combat,
Hmm.
but I don't like Hellsplit Arenas looks great, but like you say, there's just not enough there at the moment to
I went
be.
to the castle and I rode the horse around and stuff. It's like, all right, what am I just gonna run over a bunch of zombies? I mean, that's what I did.
That's what I mean. They've
I
got all
mean,
this. That's another game where they've got all the like the foundation there. If they could make like a really cool campaign with like progression and levels and just a little bit of a story, it would be. I think it'd be great. I
yeah.
really do. But as it is now, it's just so basic. You just go in, enemies spawn, and like you say, generally you can wipe them out pretty easy. So
I know I've been going a long time on this, but like, since this is related, after playing those, I went back to Gorn, and
oh,
I would personally rather play Gorn than
would you?
any of those other games. Gorn to me is way more fun. It's funny. It's extremely comical, and I have a lot of hours in Gorn. Even back when it was only on itch.io, I was playing it then. And have you played Gorn? I mean, see, there's a gun now that you can use. Have you? Did you
Yeah,
play all of the bosses?
Yeah, I played through those. Is it five bosses and stuff? I thought it was okay. I don't know. For me, it didn't really do much for me.
Is it because of the
It's
graphics?
No, it's just an arena-based thing, isn't it? Where you just go in
Yeah.
and just
Well,
defeat.
so is Hellsplit Arena, and so is Blade and
Yeah, that's
Sorcery and
that's why
Battle
I don't play
Talent.
those games though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just comparing it to those. I would, but
Yeah,
between it and those, I would rather play Gorn. I don't know.
one's more stupid and fun. And yeah, and that's got like the five campaign kind of boss fights you've got to do.
Yeah.
I found that quite easy to be honest. Like Gorns, you can just kind of
Did
blast
you
your way
beat the
through.
last boss?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
did the entire
surprised.
thing.
I figured you hadn't bothered because how you're supposed to beat him isn't very clear. Because if you just let those heads keep flying towards you, they'll just keep coming.
All right, it's been a while. I definitely played through it.
I don't know. The
No,
spectators in the crowd, all those heads, they start flying at you and screaming.
yeah, I remember that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta kill the main guy. You can't
Yeah,
just leave them.
but the way to kill the
Some
main
of some
guy
of the
isn't.
boss,
It's not totally clear. That's all I'll say.
yeah, there's some of the bosses were so easy though. Like
Oh
some of
yeah,
them
they
would come
are
out
easy. Yeah.
because they come out and they like wobble about on their little legs
Yeah.
and they just they just don't really challenge you much, and you can just take them out. Sometimes I'd take them out really quickly,
Yeah.
and it'd be like, okay, that was
Well,
easy.
there are. I don't. I haven't looked at it in a long time. There are all these like challenge modes or extra modes where you can change up how it is. You can make it a battle royale or a royal rumble where all the enemies are coming in all fighting each other, and it's there's so much going on that it's like I'm surprised even with this level of graphics. I'm surprised my computer can handle it sometimes with so much that's going
Yeah,
on.
one of those early VR games that really got a lot of people. I think it sold quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it as much as a lot of other people.
Okay. Well, you couldn't go nuts. I don't think your play space where you weren't able to like fully go psycho
Well,
madman.
yeah, when I had it, because I used to have a much bigger play space, so
Oh, you did. Okay.
I didn't. Yeah, it's only now I'm in a bit of a smaller space.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
You ready for your next game?
yeah, what we're doing, Propagation
Yeah.
Paradise Hotel.
I have your video
Still haven't
here.
finished this game. Oh, you've got my video.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
downloaded a bunch of your videos for this one.
yeah, I've not finished it yet. I've played another chunk, and I still stand by what I said before, where it's for me, it's the scariest VR game I played. It's really intense. The in the first part, you just get a pistol and you can shoot the zombies and they'll go down, but then they will get back up again. You don't kill them. Whereas in this part I'm in now, you get a shotgun and you can literally blow the heads off, and then they won't come back. So that's satisfying to get rid of the zombies finally. But yeah, it just keeps on bringing me to new cool places. Like you go to like a swimming bath section. You go into like an underground tunnel section where you're on just like crouched down, having to the flashlight, having these monsters come at me and stuff. Yeah, it just keeps switching things up and changing things. I've not found it like boring or repetitive at all. I found it just constantly just keeps switching things up enough to keep me enjoying playing it. It's just really good. The voice acting sucks on this guy who's on the screen now though. He's like
Would you like
terrible.
to go into the elevator or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's really bad. But the female voice works good. The game, the graphics are decent as well. Like, I know it's a Quest game as well, but I think it looks really good on PC. The
Yeah.
lighting's nice. The detail on the like enemies and environments is nice. Some really, I got into a section where there's these massive fat zombies that come at
Mm-hmm.
you, and that was
They're
really intense,
yeah, they're pro wrestlers.
huge. Oh, is that? Yeah, because there's a in near the
Tweedledee and
beginning, like
Tweedledum.
yeah, there's like a little flyer which shows the
Yeah.
visiting or something. Yeah, but they're absolutely huge, like massive beasts of a man, and
Yeah.
yeah, they were tough to kill. Yeah, there's like a there's you go into a gym and then there's this big buff zombie with muscles and stuff. Yeah, it's they've done enough to keep changing things up, and there's like these there's one enemy that looks like the Dead Space kind of necromorphs kind of
Mm-hmm.
things with like weird arms and stuff. Yeah, really cool, really scary. I love the fact that it's got a proper story and you're going through these levels and they're all different. That's the sort of game that I like, and we don't really get enough of. So yeah, I've not finished it, but I'm still really enjoying it. I'm recording it, putting it on my YouTube channel because I find it's a good incentive for me to actually play it. Because I do, it genuinely does scare the shit out of me, and it's hard for me sometimes to actually want to keep playing it. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun horror game. It's also very scary.
Based on your video, you're good at it, so I'm surprised you haven't just beaten it yet. You're taking a lot of breaks.
Yeah, I just find it really intense, and then I don't want to put it all in one go on the channel. I like to space it out with other stuff, so
Okay.
I'll leave it probably a few more weeks and then put the other part on there. It don't really get much views on the channel, but
Yeah.
uh, it's just a good way for me to force myself to play it and stuff and record it. So
All right. I'll
yeah,
go.
but I recommend it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I was a tester for this game, and then I played it again and did a video of it. So the second time I played it, I was able to go through way faster.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So Iron Guard VR. This is a tower defense game in VR. It was on sale, and I'd been looking at it for a while, so I decided I'd get it, and it's really good. You hold in your right hand or left hand, whatever, a kind of a drone flying ship, and you can shoot incoming enemies with that. In addition to the gun turrets and stuff that you put down there, you know, they're flamethrower turrets. There are like turrets that shoot electricity that slow down enemies. And you can put up barriers. There's all sorts of stuff that you can unlock that I haven't even unlocked yet. There are rocket turrets, and I can't even remember what else. And it's just kind of your standard tower defense game, but I think it looks really good. And I don't know, I think there's like 20 levels, and I'm enjoying it. I'm up to like level 10. The only issue that I've had so far is that in the options menu, there's an options for 360-degree turning, but on index it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. So I have to do their 45 and 30, and you can click on something for smooth. So it's kind of like a snap and smooth hybrid turn. So it'll do. Have you ever done a game where it's like snap, but it does it smoothly?
Yeah, so rather than just snap it instant, it's kind of like turns you quickly, so you still feel
Yeah,
like you're turning, but like turning to a new position type of
yeah.
thing.
And I complained about it. According to the devs on Quest, you can do full 360 smooth turn. So they're gonna look into trying to fix the index issue. So I'll wait for that before I go back into it. But I'll definitely go back into it because I'm liking it. And another issue though, when you shoot with your drone hand, you have to pull the trigger with every shot. You can't just hold it down, and that's kind of annoying. Um,
Right.
and what else? Oh, one thing that's cool is that flying enemies will come out and they'll start attacking your drone. So I don't think I've ever played a tower defense game where you get attacked. Um, so they come flying toward your drone and start shooting at you, and so then when you're busy
You
fighting
have to
them
move your
off,
hand around.
yeah, and you have
Yeah.
to move your hand around to dodge their shots. And so while you're trying to kill them, you know, the ground-based enemies are attacking, are coming toward, you know, your ship or your whatever the hell their target is, and like you can't
Yeah.
help fight them off because you're busy fighting the aerial enemies. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
seems
I guess
cool.
that's about it. Oh, and there are upgrades. You know, you earn money, and then there's upgrades you can buy, and you know, you get special abilities like where you can drop acid or where you can drop bombs and stuff. You know, all sorts of stuff. I can't remember what it was
Yeah.
on sale for. It might have been under $10. I can't remember.
It looks nice.
Yeah. So you ready for the next one?
Yeah. Move on to the next
All right,
one.
this is your video again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about this for long because this game it's called Paradox of Hope. It's a it's basically a Metro. I know you don't know about Metro games, but there's a series of games called Metro, Last Light, and Metro Exodus, three AAA non-VR games. And the guy who made it is basically kind of copied a lot of the Metro kind of thing with the lighter, and you're in like a post-apocalyptic Soviet environment. Anyway, the game got removed from Steam because he got a cease and desist. So he hasn't said who's done it, but to me it seems pretty obvious that it's going to have been Metro publishers probably. who've done that because it is. I mean, it's one of them things where obviously, although everything's his own work, I think there is something legally where it can't be too similar. So I've heard of like cases where companies have taken video games to court over games that have been too close of a copy. They've actually won, like with Nintendo and stuff like that. So he probably would have like a case against him. So he's removed the game, and apparently he's remaking the game into something different, so it doesn't look the same. But yeah, it's a good game, but obviously you can't buy it, which is why there's not much point in me talking about it. I just wanted to mention the fact that it's no longer available and it's been removed because of this issue with this cease and desist, with them saying that it's copyright infringement. So
Yeah, I haven't tried Paradox of Hope, and I guess I never will,
no,
unfortunately.
unfortunately,
Hmm.
yeah, because I have it in my Steam library, but apparently you can't access it. It's not available on Steam anymore. So I'm still able to access it. If you own the game, you can still access it, but you can't buy it anymore and you can't share it.
All right, go to the
It's a
next one.
shame. Yep.
All right. So there's a first-person VR mod for this game called Tormented Souls, which is similar to Resident Evil. And so it was on sale. The game was on sale. I don't know, maybe $9.99. So I decided to get it to try the mod out. And you play as this woman here, and it started out promising because the first thing I see is this. Okay, that scene right there. You see there was a naked woman with the body of a Playboy playmate in the tub, and you see her fully nude, and you're like, all right, we're starting out strong. And then you find out that you are that woman, and then she puts her clothes on, and you start walking around. And the first thing was like, all right, the performance isn't good. So I had to go in and kind of lower the settings to try to get the performance better. And then I'm walking around this room trying to figure out what to do and how the controls work. And you have like a cursor when you go into menus, you have a cursor that you have to move around to select items, which was annoying. And I think you move it with one of the analog sticks. I can't remember which one. And I just didn't like that interface, the way that worked. And it was just really hard to control the clunky controls. And I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. Josh played it and he got a little bit farther than me, but he said he gave up too. I think, what did he say? The controls are bad. He just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't
don't.
think it's a particularly well polished mod or anything. It's just
Yeah.
one that no one really talked about anyway. But uh, yeah, it looked like when I saw the trailer with that woman and everything, I thought, yeah, I'd probably like that.
Yeah, you knew I'd like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just looks like a cheap, janky version of Resident Evil, really. So
And in VR, you have to sit. You basically have to play seated and stay still because you can't physically. If you physically turn, your head's not going to line up with your body.
oh, it's
It's
not a
one of
room
those.
scare or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
don't.
Give it a
I,
miss then.
yeah, I don't recommend that. We can go to your next one.
Okay. Well, I decided to do some Skyrim, which is something I've not played much of. Messed around with it years ago, tried modding it. Spent 6 hours modding the bloody thing, and then an hour playing it or something. And then I decided to make a video about the mods, and it's a lot easier now because you've got something called Wabberjack, which is like a software that you can download for free, and then you use these lists, like these people who've made these lists of all the mods that you can have, which have already been tested and worked together and everything. And then you can just download a full list, and everything just kind of works. So yeah, I did that and checked it out, and I put a few hours into it, and I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was pretty good. And the mods make a big difference. Like now we have collisions with, your hands don't. You actually have hands for a start, because without any mods, if you've got a weapon in your hand, the weapon's just like a floating weapon. You don't even have hands and stuff.
Yeah, what you're
And
seeing in
then
this video is a comparison between non-modded and modded.
yeah, and you've got things like you can throw weapons and like retract them back into your hands, which is quite overpowered, but it feels really cool. VR. You've got obviously you can have like magic in one hand, and then you can have a weapon in another hand. You've got bow and arrows, which work physically with you putting your hand over your shoulder and grabbing a new arrow. And graphically, there's so many different mods for graphics that change the game. It still feels like an old game, like there's no getting around that. But obviously, it definitely improves things a lot over the original non-VR, non-modded game. Yeah, it's just there's a level where early on where you go into like a dungeon and there's a big spider to fight and stuff, and I really enjoyed that section. It's quite long and you go through these caves with a torch in one hand to light up the way, and it's really good fun. The only problem I've got is I really don't like open world games much because you spend so much time and I'm just trying to get from one place to another, and this is the same thing for this. So like I tried to do the next mission where you have to go up to the top of this mountain, and it takes so long to get to the top of the mountain. I finally got there, and I kind of got a bit bored with it, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I'm going to keep playing it, but it's definitely better with the mods for sure.
I have 100 hours in Skyrim VR. I did every mission I possibly could. I played it all standing and physically turning, and I did all archery.
You didn't know mods neither.
Yeah, no, I did graphic mods because
Oh, did you?
I did it back around when it first came out, and there were a bunch of
Yeah.
graphic mods that worked back then, but nothing. There were no melee mods, of course, or anything like that.
Yeah, because now there's like melee mods. You got full body arms. You could like the melee's a lot better. Everything's better with the mods. Really, it's massively improves the game.
I've been
Um,
too lazy to just install all that crap and go back into it. I'd be motivated if I hadn't already beaten the game.
yeah, but you've already done 100 hours. You're not going to go back into it again. So.
Yeah. I have Fallout 4 is one that I need to go back into because the performance was bad when it came out, and I never went back to it.
Yeah, I tried Fallout 4 with the mods as well because there's a mod pack for that, and I hated it. Like,
Uh,
absolutely hated it. Some of the mods made the game even like more janky to me. Like the Pip Boy thing with the menus and stuff felt
mhm.
really shit to use. I hated using it. I had crashes. I had like you've got like this thing where you can see your body and arms, but then sometimes your body would get like your arms would go all twisted and distorted, and the only way to fix it would to go back to an older save, and it was to me it's just completely broken still with mods, so I can't recommend
What
based on
about the
what I've played.
performance?
It was fine performance.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I'm running a 3080, so it was better. But yeah, I just did not enjoy the game at all, and the mods to me, a lot of the mods didn't work right and were problematic. So
Speaking of your
I can't.
3080, sorry,
Yep.
I'm thinking about buying a 4090 because you can buy them now.
Right.
Do you think that
How
would be
much?
stupid? I have a 3080 Ti. If I sold that and got a 4090, because
Well, the 4090 is supposed to.
I'm reading the 5000 series cards aren't coming until like maybe 2025.
Yeah, it should be a bit of time before. I mean, if you can afford it, well, why not? I mean, it's like nearly twice the power of a 3080
I read
Ti,
it's like
so
80, yeah, like 80 something percent faster.
it's not like a small boost. It's a massive boost.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, you've got to be like, got to look at your PC case and stuff because they're a massive unit. They're like
Yeah.
take three slots up on your motherboard. I can't even fit one on my case. I'd have to get a new case and stuff. But
Hmm.
uh, yeah,
I
if
have
you
a
can
big
afford it,
case.
yeah, you'd be fine then. I've got
Okay.
one of those small cases, so
I'm not
I
sure
could
if
fit one.
my power supply, like there's wasn't it like some special connector now or something? I
Yeah,
don't
because it
know.
needs like don't you need like three connectors or something to the power? It's like yeah, you can get converters, but you need a beefy power supply as well. And yeah, I'm not going to upgrade for a while yet. I'm still fine with my 3080. I've not found anything that I've not been able to really run. But yeah, 4090 is going to massively improve performance. So
A bunch of these flat to VR mods, they don't run great. Like for example, that Tormented Souls that didn't run well, but I wonder if even with a 4090 it still wouldn't.
yeah, I mean that's definitely going to be for mods because there's nothing. I don't think there's any VR native VR games that you're going to need a 4090 for. But yeah, it's the mods, and then like with the Unreal Injector as well when that comes out. Obviously, some of those games are really heavy, like Jedi Survivor and stuff like that, are really
Hmm.
hard to run.
Yeah.
That's where you need probably a 4090 for that sort of stuff.
Hmm. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This is Final Space VR The Rescue. This is the game that prompted me to use this voice in the intro. So we played this yesterday with Josh, and my first reaction was I was surprised at how good it looked. It's like it's cell shaded, but there's also like pretty nice looking shadows and lighting. Apparently, this is based on a cartoon that I've never seen. You just go through levels shooting at these robots and stuff, and there's some humor in it. Mostly the humor's from the gay alien. So I guess that's sort of like Roger from American Dad. He reminds me of him. And we didn't play as that white guy. We played as the cat and the girl. They weren't funny at all. But you get these different guns. You can dual wield guns, and there's a cool reloading mechanic. I don't know. Have you ever seen a reloading mechanic like that in VR where you can make it
In
reload
VR,
faster if you time it right?
it's Gears of War. If you've ever
Oh,
played
is it? I
that,
never played Gears of War. Oh, okay.
yeah, Gears of War, same thing. It's like you press the reload button, and then if you time it right, you can reload really quickly. But if you get it wrong, then it slows your reload down. So you can either just wait for the reload to finish, or you can kind of watch this little meter, and if you time it right, you can do a fast reload. It's quite satisfying. It's all button presses though. It's not like I
Yeah.
feel like it would have been better if they did like a flick or something that you had to time or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean it's fine. It's really repetitive. I mean you basically just go through into a room and then like loads of these robot things come at you and then you just constantly just shoot and shoot and shoot. Then you move to another area. But it's got co-op, which is the only reason why we're playing it really. Um, I think if you like the cartoon, if you watch the cartoon, you probably enjoy it a lot more. But obviously, me and you and Josh have never even heard of it, so for us, it was just kind of just the fact that it had co-op and it was something that looked okay. We checked it out, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't think I could recommend playing it solo.
No.
It's not good enough for that.
And you move too slowly. There's no sprint. And then we also had the issue where this one boss kept just freezing, and we'd have to reload our last checkpoint.
Yeah, we'd have to like we'd have to die basically, let it
Yeah.
kill us, and then we could reload the next checkpoint, and that happened twice. I think it happened like 3 times because then third time we said, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean it's okay if you buy it on a sale. I think and you've got some friends to play it with, it could be fun. But I wouldn't be rushing out to buy it anytime soon.
And the
Personally, I
highlight
feel
is
like
probably the things the gay alien says. So like
make sure that one of you is the gay alien
definitely.
because he's the funny character. He's got his tongue stuck out all the time, and he just like walks around and says campy, really camp gay stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he made the game more interesting,
Yeah, I'm all
definitely.
about homoerotic humor. So
Yeah,
who isn't?
it's yeah, why not? It's funny.
All right. We also played Walkabout, and we played this Alfheim, Land of the Elves level.
Hmm,
I
good
thought it
level.
it looks nice, but not not that interesting otherwise.
It's okay. It's not my favorite courses. I think visually it's really nice. Um, a lot of the courses like you can use like the outer like edges
Yeah,
to
they're
kind
very
of run the ball.
curvy.
Yeah, they're made so that you can like reuse. You can hit the outer edges of the course, and it'll kind of like run around the edge and fling it to where you need it to go. So that was kind of the main theme of this one. Yeah, we did both the easy and the hard one, and it was okay. Like I said, the environments are really nice, but the courses were just average in my opinion.
Of the hard levels I've done with you guys, this was I think the easiest hard quest or whatever to get the new club. Was
Yeah,
that
it wasn't bad. Towards the end, there was a couple that were more confusing,
finding
but
that final leaf?
yeah, but the rest of it we blitzed through it pretty quick. Yeah, most of them are a lot harder than that to get the clubs.
Yeah. So what did Josh win both of those?
Yeah,
Oh,
Josh won both
okay.
games.
All right. All right. Next one. Mount Wingsuit 2. This was on sale, and I had the original game. That was an early, maybe a 2016 VR game, the original. This one to me pretty much felt the same as the original. I didn't play the original that much, so I don't know why I bought this. I don't know. I
I
just
don't know.
like to spend my money, waste my money.
Yeah, you buy some strange games sometimes. You'll send me an email like
I
with
bought
the
this, and you're
thing,
like, why the fuck did you buy that? Yeah.
and I just look at it and think, okay, you enjoy that because I'm not playing it, so
Yeah, like this looks thrilling, but to me, it's what I played. It's just kind of slow and boring. I think this one's easier to control. I remember the first one being kind of hard to control, and
right.
I had no problems controlling this, going through the rings and all that. But
How do you control?
you have your arms out, and you move your arms up and down,
Right.
and like having your left arm up and your right arm down would make you veer to the right, and vice
Has it got
versa.
multiplayer?
It looks like in this video, it looks like it does. I didn't know it has it. That would be cool if we could all, fly together. There was
Yeah,
another game like this that I got like years ago, and I can't remember what it was called.
Rush.
Rush.
Yeah.
I remember liking that, and that one was like a competitive game.
Yeah, you were like racing. You were racing down to the bottom against
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people,
you
and
were racing, so that was fun. Whereas in this one, I was just playing single player by myself, so that was kind of boring.
mm. Yeah, I think I'd rather just play Rush to be honest. But
Yeah. Um,
it looks alright.
I don't know. I don't know anything else to. I need to investigate the multiplayer, if that is a
Yeah.
thing. All right. So last time I talked about Paranormal Detective Escape from the '90s, and Alex said he was interested in playing it, which I
Mm.
knew when he said that. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be funny," but I didn't want to say it. But I beat it. Is all I'm saying here. I went all the way through. I beat the '80s and I beat the '90s. And I would only recommend these if you really like escape room games and you need to find, and if you like the 80s and 90s. I liked them, but I don't think, obviously somebody like Alex isn't going to be into this. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about it.
I didn't really play much because I thought the controls were really shit and dated, and
Yeah.
it didn't feel great to play.
Yeah, picking up
So
items can be a real struggle because they
even just the
highlight.
movement, you don't have a strafe button and stuff, so you
Yeah.
can't
I left a
can't
comment
strafe.
saying they need to add that. They need to add a strafe. Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to get your hand like a certain distance away from stuff for it to highlight to then pick it up, and that can be really frustrating.
They've
And
not
it's
improved it because I tried the first one and then the second one, and it's the exact same controls. It's like
yeah,
still same shitty controls. So I don't know why they've not. Maybe people haven't told him, but I don't know. The controls to me feel really rough,
and it's on
not great.
Quest. It's on Quest 2, so maybe they're focusing more on that.
Mm.
Um, when I was playing it, I kind of had the mentality like, all right, this is a VR game made in the '90s. so
Oh right.
that's kind of that's kind of how it
I see.
feels. Yeah,
Yeah, you were getting really into the theme.
yeah. I was role playing, and yeah, I'm playing this on my Sega VR headset right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. I don't. Do we have any other games on the list? Let's see. No,
Nope.
that's it for the games we played.
Yep.
So I guess I'll just go back. I was thinking about downloading all of these trailers, and I was like, "Nah, fuck it. I can't download all this shit."
No, I
Here's a
don't blame
list
you.
of upcoming games. Alvo is coming out September 14th. That's coming out, I think, on all platforms. I think it already came out on PSVR 1, and I think it didn't
It's
get.
PSVR one. Yeah, it's coming to Quest. I think it's out on Quest as
No, it's
well.
on PC
Actually,
too. There's a Steam page too.
it's coming to PC, but it's not out yet. I
Yeah.
think it's coming after PSVR two release.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just another multiplayer first-person shooter. I feel like we just got so many. Gonna have a hard time getting people to buy it. I think they'll do well on PSVR 2 because there's only really Pavlov and Firewall Ultra at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas on PC and Quest, you've got like Contractors, you've got Pavlov, you've got Onward, you've got Propagation. What's that? Battle Royale game, Population One, and yeah, you've got so many games to play. Trying to get new people to populate another different game can be really difficult.
Yeah, so then there's Gazlers that comes out the same day, September 14th. That's an on rails shooter. Literally, you're on a train and you're on like the back of the train basically. I don't know if it's a train or a truck. I think it's a train, and then you're shooting at the enemies. You know, it was on the like Steam Next Fest and it was pretty polished. But that's not something I'm going to get. So then Hellsweeper VR comes out September 21st on I think all platforms. And that's going to have co-op. So that might be interesting. I played the demo. I don't know
It's not
I'm
my
gonna
sort
get
of
it.
thing. It's
Yeah.
kind of like arena thing, isn't it? Like where you just
Yep.
defeating waves of enemies
Yeah,
in an arena.
it's like Sirento because it's from the same developer.
Mm.
So then I Expect You to Die 3. That already came out on Quest, but it comes out on Steam on September 28th. And I'm definitely going to play that. Alex and I were talking about maybe both playing it and like maybe doing a side by
Oh
side
yeah,
to see like
we're gonna like
who can
level
do
at a
it.
time or something.
Yeah, who can do it faster. So we
We'll
might
like
do that.
record it and then upload a video onto this channel and then
Well, here's what
you'll
I
have
was
like
thinking.
a
You'll record yours and then I'll record mine and then I can just maybe I could combine them.
yeah, that's
And
what I mean. We'll have them on. So you watch
yeah.
one video and it's both of us
Yeah.
playing at the same time, figuring
Yeah.
out, see how fast we figure it out,
Exactly.
and we can just put each level on and
And one
yeah,
of
it could
us can
be
feel like a dumbass.
see who gets through it faster.
Yeah.
Being interesting,
Yeah.
and knowing that as well will change the way we play because we'll be thinking about how fast we can do it rather than just
Yeah.
playing it at our leisure. So that could be interesting.
And we'll be stressed out, I bet.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
stress.
So then the Seventh Guest VR that comes out October 19th on I think all platforms. There already have been
Looking forward to that.
some content creators got demo versions where they did videos of that.
Yeah,
Then
October, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, October 19th. Then I don't normally talk about games that were on PC that are coming out later to other platforms, but Vertigo 2 is worth mentioning. That's going to come out October 24th on PlayStation.
Yep.
Because that's one of the best VR games.
It is, yeah.
Even though it's hard as balls.
Even though it's got some balancing issues, it's still great.
Yeah. You got to the final
movement.
boss, right? And then you said, fuck it.
Yeah, I never finished it. I went back in and had another go at it, but I couldn't be asked. I just get frustrated with the movement. I want to move faster, and it annoys me.
Like I said, I had to teleport. To beat him.
Yeah, that annoys me. That's the only downside to that game, I think. I think if you could move faster, a lot of those situations where you get killed wouldn't happen because you'd be able to get out of the way faster. So I think if they put a faster, smooth locomotion option, that game would be really good. At the moment, it's just got a few balance issues with some of the levels, but still great.
Madison VR comes out on Halloween. That's a horror game. It's coming to PlayStation and PC. So that is going to
Looks
have
really good, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be questified. It can have better graphics. So that's cool.
And you're using like a Polaroid camera as well. Like you take pictures, and that's like the gameplay loop of you taking these pictures, developing the Polaroids, and I'm guessing you're going to see stuff on the pictures and stuff, and for clues and puzzles and stuff like that.
So then
good.
Oh, sorry. What are you going to say?
I said it could be good.
Yeah. Vampire the Masquerade Justice comes out on November 2nd for PlayStation and Quest. No PC release. So Alex and I will not get to play that.
No, not unless I play on the Quest, but I'd rather just wait and play it on PSVR 2 when I get one.
Yeah, I could have a Quest 3 then. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So then these games have been listed as like a fall release, so they could come out anytime. Arashi Castles of Sin Final Cut. That might be all platforms. I'm not sure. I know it's Steam.
It's coming to Steam.
Yeah. Then Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. I think that's not coming to Steam. I think that's only PlayStation and Quest. Then Journey to Foundation, that's PlayStation. Then Stranger Things VR. I think they've only listed it as Quest, but they kind of
It
said
did.
like it will come to other platforms.
Yeah, it said all major platforms, which, you know,
Yeah, okay.
I think that should be everything, really.
But it might be a timed thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested in that though. Looks cool.
Then the ones that just say winter are Asgard's Wrath 2 and Behemoth. Do you say Behemoth or Behemoth?
Behemoth, but I wouldn't.
Behemoth. Okay.
I don't think that's coming this year because we've not heard anything about it.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
think.
not.
I think that's going to be next year now.
Then there are games that just say 2023, like Arizona Sunshine 2, Assassin's Creed Nexus, which is Quest only, and then Affected the Asylum. So we have a bunch of games here that just could drop any day. And we got some new announcements for Max Mustard, which is a platformer that's like Astrobot and Lucky's Tale. I don't know what the hell Max Mustard means. The character is a girl in a yellow jumpsuit, but I don't really understand why.
Can you have a girl's name called Max?
Maxine? Yeah, sometimes Maxine. Like, wasn't there a Max in Stranger Things? And
Oh
her name
yeah,
was,
there was.
her name was Maxine, probably.
Yeah, I think that one looks kind of. I do like platformers in VR. Did you ever play that? What's it called?
Yeah, Ven VR Adventure. I did a full playthrough video of that.
Thing was, for that, it wasn't really. It was just a platform, and that was just in VR. There was no real VR to it.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
it was kind of it was just an average platformer, and that's what I've not seen anything in the footage I've seen of this Max Mustard where it's like
Oh,
making use of VR.
Oh no, it shows it in the trailer.
What were they
If
doing?
if the trailer, if I downloaded all these trailers, you'd be seeing it right now. But there in the trailer, you see that the player has a gun.
Right.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I think in the trailer they're shooting, but I can't remember what.
As long as they've got some sort of cool mechanic where you're actually more involved, then I think that's
Yeah, that's what
more
Astrobot
interesting.
does. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be a lot like that. I think.
That's
I
what it
wasn't
needs to
crazy
be.
about the graphics. They look kind of basic. So it's definitely Quest.
Quest, yeah.
But all they've said is VR platforms. They didn't say which ones. So I don't know. Then Bootstrap Island, that's coming to PC only as far as I know, but we don't know when. And that looks very similar to that Memories from Beyond a Coral Sea, but it's a
Oh, I wonder
roguelike.
if they've. It's a game I want to look at. Yeah, it's a roguelite, and apparently it's quite like a brutal. You quite short runs. I don't think you're gonna have like really long runs on that one.
Yeah.
You're on a desert island, surviving with natives and stuff trying to kill you. It looks quite good, but I just don't like roguelites.
So then Supersonic Fight. Have you seen that? That's up your
No.
alley because it's a plane.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Plane game.
Like a Top Gun type thing.
Yeah.
Jets
And
and
that's
stuff.
PC
Yeah.
only as far as I know.
Yeah.
And then EA Sports WRC, that's also PC only. They're saying they're going to add VR support after launch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
So that's basically what? Basically Dirt Rally 3?
Yeah, it's basically Dirt Rally 3 because it's the same team, but they've got the official World Rally Championship license now, so it's an official, which is a good thing because one of the problems with the Dirt Rally games is that they didn't have a lot of courses, they didn't have a lot of tracks. They'd just have one location with one big track, and then they'd split it up into two, reverse it and stuff. Whereas because it's an official game, they've got to have all of the individual countries. So I think there's like 18 different courses, tracks, more than the old games, and then they're gonna obviously cut them up into small pieces for as well. But apparently some of the tracks are really long, like 20 minutes just to do one.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be good. I really enjoyed Dirt Ride 2, so I'm looking forward to this one.
That's one of many games I need to go back to. Because I only played it at launch when the performance wasn't very good.
If you get your 4090, then you'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. So then Meta Connect will be September 27th and 28th. And there was a Amazon Canada listing of Quest 3 that got put up and taken down that listed it as October 10th for the release date of Quest 3. And also, there's been all this recent rumors about something coming from Valve. So I'll put up this tweet from Brad Lynch, where a new Valve hardware device just received radio certification in South Korea. So the Valve Index was model name 1007. The Steam Deck was model 1010, and then this new Valve device that we don't know what it is 1030, and it says specific low power wireless device, and it's 5 gigahertz. And I don't know, who knows? This could be a new headset. It could be a remodel or a refresh of the Steam Deck. Nobody knows. But a bunch of stuff's been happening lately, like in their drivers and stuff. There are all these people that dig into these things and look for
Yeah.
all sorts of things. There's something called a product named Galileo and a new product family called Sephiroth. So people are thinking something's coming out soon. And
Yeah, until we
Tuesday, September 12th is Steam's 20th anniversary, so maybe they'll announce something that day.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe during the Meta Connect, they'll be dicks and drop something out of nowhere. Who knows?
I hope they are working on something because I like my Valve Index, but it's 4 years. Was it 4.5 years old or something now? And it's definitely that people don't probably, when you've got all these new headsets, they probably don't think about the Index as much now. So I think bringing out a replacement would be great. And if it's got like wireless capabilities and it's a standalone possibility, so you can play all the Quest stuff on there. Like, obviously, if all the developers can release the Quest games onto the standalone device as well, then you're going to have another option for people with standalone. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because obviously they said with the Steam Deck that in interviews that they were basically looking at the architecture of the Steam Deck, potentially a VR device. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to put that, and it's more powerful than the Quest as well. I don't know if it's going to be more powerful than the Quest 3. Obviously, the Quest 3 is going to be like more powerful again, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they've got something, because I really do want to see Valve do more than what they're doing at the moment, because they're really not pushing VR that much at the moment.
Yeah, Valve said somebody at Valve said something like the Steam Deck is very relevant to our future VR plans or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, if they've got this processor unit and everything, and they've got it all in the Steam Deck, then they can reuse that same thing and put it into a VR headset. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table. How expensive are they going to make it? Because and they make it £1,000. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of money. Are they going to try to reduce the cost down and bring the price down, or are they going to keep it the same price as the Index? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I hope it's index price or higher. That's
Yeah.
what I want, higher quality. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but I do think it could be do with being a bit cheaper. Personally,
Mm.
the Steam Deck's what three? How much is the three Steam Deck? I know there's different memory, different like hard drives, but they start at like £300 or $300 or something.
Well, the index headset is only 500 something. So
Yeah,
if this thing, assuming this thing doesn't need base stations, yeah, maybe it doesn't have to go up to 1,000. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, the base stations are expensive. The index controllers are expensive. So, but generally, things come down in price over time. If they constantly if they stick with the index controllers and they
Mm-hmm.
just bring them to a new device, they could then it's inside out tracking. I don't know. It's with Valve. It's just a wait and see, really, because we just never know what they're going to be doing. So
Yeah. All right, that's it. You have anything else? Any games we missed? I mean, there's on like your
mm.
Discord. There's always new games getting. The people put up like that Brazen Blaze, whatever that was, that melee fighting
Oh yeah,
game.
there's that multiplayer fighting game. Yeah, it didn't look particularly that great.
It has a Steam page, I think.
Toss just released, which is a great name.
Toss. Oh yeah. I'm
Played that
interested
yet.
in that, but I don't know if I'm interested enough to buy it.
I'm the same. I'm not like rushing out to buy it, but I'd play it if I got access to it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
That's it. Nope.
Okay, guys. I guess that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.